Hello, my name is Flor Baradi, and I am here to talk about my childhood in Agusan and how it inspired and influenced my art making. So, my artworks, most of my artworks are my tribute to my motherland because the region fostered my imagination and creativity. And let me explain to you how. Diverse nature and dark nights. These are the two overarching themes in my works. First is dark nights. Dark nights, literally. I grew up in a remote barrio in Butuan City. That's in Agusan del Norte in Mindanao. Back then, we had no electricity. So uh, we used kerosene lamps as our lights during the night. And we entertain ourselves by reading books and listening to the radio and telling stories. And most of the stories are about supernatural beings. And in our community, that was quite common. There are different creatures that roam at night. So usually, before we go to sleep, we lock our doors, and then we close our windows, and then we decorate our windows with garlic and branches of a certain citrus plant. But we were told that the most effective weapons against these creatures are the tail of stingrays, because when they are hit by the tails, the creatures, when they are wounded, they are not able to heal themselves. So that's very fatal to them. So the first creature in our stories in the community is the aswang. Aswang is creatures that can fly at night. The form is the upper body is a body of a woman, and then it has uh, wings. uh, the prey of the creatures are usually children, even adults, but their most favorite meals are that of the pregnant women and the unborn fetuses that they suck using a very long tongue. Um, the swans are also shapeshifters. They can assume the appearance of ordinary animals so that they can easily latch on their prey. Another creature is the sigbin. It is a dog-like creature who waylays people at night in order to suck their blood. The sigbins were also known to abduct children, who uses the hearts of the victims to make them into amulets. The sigbin has the ability to walk backward and also has the ability to be invisible. It was rumored that aswangs keep them as pets and also rich people. They keep them in jars in order to command them to do their bidding later on. One of the supernatural creatures, rather persons, in the stories are about the mangkukulam witch or mambabarang. That's the Eastern. That's a Filipino version of the witch. The witch of the region, they practice black magic. They can also be faith healers. The mambabarang, however, is on a higher level than the mangkukulam. They have the power to cast spell and cause harm. They have the ability to talk to spirits and cast out spirits from the bodies of persons. You can also pay them if you want to wreak vengeance on your enemies. This is done through the use of an effigy or an insect. The mambabarang can cause deformities in the body, horrific physical pains, and even death. I was able to use the theme of witchcraft in a exhibit entitled Seven Deadly Sins and Seven Heavenly Virtues. So I chose the sin that is wrath. And I researched, and according to Dante, the philosopher Dante, wrath is love of justice perverted to revenge and spite. So I created the story about a woman who was jilted by her lover, and she used witchcraft to exact her revenge. So my first step is to create dolls in order to use them as reference for my paintings. The appearance, body shape, hair, even the clothes are based on actual persons. So these are the dolls that I made. The first one is Felix. He was based on a musician. And the second one is Diego. He was based on an artist. So my second theme is the diverse nature. These are the paintings I made for a solo exhibit back in 2012. And some of the pictures here were done in 2019. And here are also some of my paintings. Again, the recurring theme of the orchids. There was a time that I had a small room with no window, so there was no ventilation, and I was not able to paint using oil. So what I did was to make a lot of drawings, and then later on, when I had a lot of them, I tried to find out ways to use them creatively. So what I did was to photocopy them and then cut them out and then compose them into surreal landscapes or monsters, unusual animals. Then use them as the basis for my paintings and illustrations. So these are some of my paintings using India ink on canvas. The subjects are mostly carnivorous plants and venomous animals. There you can see the Rafflesia also. It's there, the biggest flower in the world. And then the usual suspects, the orchids and the insects. So these are some of my sketches. So I compiled them according to the body parts and according to the plants. And then when I want to do my compositions, I spread them out and then I juxtapose the different images. So I think I had a whole box of them right now. The first series I made for this process is for an exhibit with the theme of junk shop. So the title of my series is Flotsam, Jetsam, and Then Some. These are, I imagine creatures who mutated with the trash that we threw in the ocean. The first creature is a peacock. The title of the piece is Peacock because I use the different elements on the creature. I use cooking utensils on the body of the creature. The big one on the middle is a crocodile, inspired by Lolo, the biggest saltwater crocodile in captivity back in 2013. He was found in the Agusan region. So his back is has parts of ferns, and bottles. And the title of the piece is Butterfly. The third piece is Charybdis. Charybdis is a sea creature. And so what I did was to incorporate chairs on the fins and the tails of the creature. Then my second series for the process is Rappaccini's Garden. Rappaccini's Garden is a novelette written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. The theme of the story is a gothic a gothic love story. So the major plot is that there was a scientist or a botanist who had a garden with poisonous flowers, unusually beautiful but poisonous flowers, and then he has a beautiful daughter who he managed to turn poisonous. So it has a tragic ending. But the overarching theme there is death and beauty. So inspired by the story, I created a lot of illustrations using India ink on canvas and on paper. So to go with the theme, I use orchids to signify beauty, and venomous animals, snakes, spiders, box jellyfish, and I tried to veer away from the cliche of using skulls and bones to signify death. So instead, I use antlers and horns of animals to use them as branches or leaves of the plants. Some of my pieces here have centipede, snakes, and spiders. On the far left, the upper left, are the cone snails, the seemingly innocuous snails. They are the most venomous animal in the world. So I created 50 pieces of them, and they were exhibited in an art fair in 2017. These are the sketches I made from, excuse me, 2003 to 2011. I wanted to create a visual journal of my childhood in Agusan. So I think I filled up 2 sketch pads of my sketches. I also made notes in order to analyze the meaning of the images and the symbols, make them my personal symbols, the recurring themes in them, and make them my personal symbols. Some of them are stories from childhood, like this one, on the left. It is when I accidentally stepped on a snake which was inside my boots. And on the left one is there was a snake crossing on the street, and that usually happens, especially around late afternoon. This one, I saw a lizard, a huge lizard on top of a rooftop, and I remember the bright yellow marking beneath it. So, its neck. It was a monitor lizard. And then on the right side are the treasures you can find after a flood on the puddles. So this one, that's when I discovered a tree on a snake on my tree. It was there first, so I have to go down. And then at this one, this is the first time I discovered mariposa. Excuse me. It is a giant moth. The name is, scientific name is Attacus lurquinii, one of the biggest moths in the world. So I started doing ebb and flow studies in ink. They are in preparation for the Ugpaanan exhibit, so I started them in 2021. I incorporated endemic flora and fauna of the Agusan region in my works. In this piece, the orchids on the middle, it's a pure white orchid. The name is Dendrobium schutze, and the plant on the right with the unusual stripe markings are Alocasia zebrina. I also incorporated the ideas from my sketchbook onto ink drawings, and the one on the right are the nipa palm trees. They are very common in the Agusan region. The tent web spider, and then the bird is an Egreta sacra. It's a Pacific heron, also endemic in the region. Here the spiders are Cryptoparasitricola, or tent web spiders. This snake there, the curled snake, I recall them from childhood. They are, I usually encounter them in our garden, and they were always hiding beside our rice container. So again, the nipa palm, and then on the right side, it's a very distinct memory because I found the lizard in a puddle. I brought it home, and then my mother was really mad. It turned out that the lizard was a baby crocodile. So for the Ugpaanan, I made a few pieces. The title of the theme of the pieces are also death and beauty. So for the small ones, I use acrylic paint and on canvas. So the theme there are the beauty, which is the orchids, and the danger, which are the poisonous and the dangerous animals. So they are about the beauty and danger found in nature. The two long panels on abaca cloth, the theme is about abundance and diversity in nature. This piece is entitled In the Kingdom of Orchids. The main subject is a gigantic painting of an orchid. It is a Paphiopedilum philippinense. Actually, it is a small plant, but I love it because it has a pair of unusually long petals, and they remind me of the twisty strands of the DNA. My other piece, the title is Where Crocodiles Roam. Again, this was inspired by by Lolong, the biggest saltwater crocodile captured in 2013 along the Agusan Marsh. The title reminds us that these enormous creatures still exist and still roam in the vast marshes of the Agusan, but they may not be there for long. So let us conclude with the main topic of this presentation. The constant theme of my works are beauty and death, nature and danger. When asked why I always use them in my artworks, the answer is very simple. It is because I grew up in Agusan. That's it, and thank you.